This NOAA weather radio station is temporarily off the air. Please tune to an alternate weather radio broadcast or visit weather.gov for the latest weather information. This NOAA weather radio station is temporarily off the air.
Hey guys, welcome back. Very first, I want to thank everyone for their prayers and their thoughts. I've got tons of emails. I have not answered them. I haven't even gotten to so many comments and different things on the channel. I'm trying to, we just got power back last night, and the service is just, even when we were on our phone, it was just really sketchy for a lot of different things. But I'm trying to get to them. Hopefully some of this will answer some of the little things, the detailed questions I had. I do want to say that, considering the things I'm going to talk about, and I had to write notes because I'm still running sleep deprived, and just to keep up, and I'm sure there'll be things I forget, but even our experience through all this, we're extremely blessed. And I said that when we had the flood situation in August, and here we look, and we may have another one come October. Yeah, I'm kind of over it, and I've always lived where there's hurricanes, but it's just getting old. Harp, I see you're working overtime and doing your thing, but we are extremely blessed, and it's minimal compared to so many. Okay, so when I talk about our experience, the little things that happened, some of it is also just because this is a shift situations, and a lot have different types of them, and some are in the middle of it way worse. Please continue to pray for those people. I'm gonna hit and miss on some things. I'm just trying to tell you things that we went through, hiccups we have, because I promise you, shift never goes the way you think it's going to go. All your preps, your supplies, your equipment, something malfunctions. We had that happen, and that's just the way it goes. So, and with that being said, and because I've seen other comments where people are coming out and saying this, and this, or sharing something that happened, and then this malfunctioned, this messed up, I didn't have this, whatever, and people want to jump all over them. They want to jump all over them. They want to criticize, say, well, you should have done it this way. You should have had this. Well, that's what you get for not having this backup or whatever. Don't do that. Don't do it on here, or anyone else. Be kind, okay? You don't know till you're in it, and things happen that are out of our control, and we're all trying to get through all these things that are going on. The world's going crazy, and things happen. And don't beat people down when, people get kicked in the stomach and fall over, and then people want to come kick them in the teeth. And I have no tolerance for that. And I'm not just talking about myself. I'm talking about when I see it other places. And I had started seeing it across YouTube videos. People are talking about things, and then people jump all over them like, oh, they're an idiot. Don't do that. God will humble you. Careful treading on that. So let's go back. Night of storm. They kept changing the time when it was going to come in. And so it was like, it was going to be at this time, then they moved it back, and then, pushed it forward like 4 hours, and then it ended up coming late. I hate it. I hate it when they come at night, because you're going to lose power, and all you hear is, the wind, things breaking, things falling, wood cracking, and all of that happened. So about 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., it was no joke. I have been in more hurricanes than I can count my entire life. I don't know any different. I really don't get excited for hurricanes. But this was just a beast, okay? And the wind, so with Debbie in August, the wind it wasn't even that bad. It wasn't like, oh, we're in this bad storm. The flooding was unreal. And it came a couple hours after Debbie had went on through. The flooding was unreal. It just kept coming. It was groundwater, which comes up. With this one, I mean, it was just kind of a steady rain. It wasn't, downpouring or anything. The wind was unreal. I think we were going about sustained 80 miles, and I think our max that they recorded was up to 100 mile per hour gusts. It was unreal. So there were several different, incidents and the worst mix of it that went on for a while, and there was tornadoes around and stuff. I'm going to get into some of those details. It sounded like the roof was going to be ripped off. It sounded like the roof was going to be ripped off. It sounds like the house was going to be falling apart, and you just hear stuff flying and hitting all over. And there were several times in that stretch, like I said, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. It was no joke. And I have not really young kids. They're my younger kids of all my kids. I have to kind of get them going, and we start getting alerts and different things coming on. Tornadoes. The wind is horrific. You get in the center part of your house, a hall bath, things like that. So there's different times where we're like, we got to get in there. Alerts are coming in. There's a tornado over here, or just the wind was so horrific. We hear things because when it's at night, you hear the winds, you hear the cracking, and then you'll hear these booms, and you can feel it. It'll shake. It's like you can feel it in the ground, like through your floor and everything. And so we kept having that. And you're being calm for your children. You're trying to keep yourself calm, and you are. But it was scary. It was testy for hours. And when you're in that, it seems like this is going on forever. It was no joke. I don't think wind-wise I've ever been through one like that. By the grace of God, everything that fell away from the house. It fell away from the house. I mean, we could hear things hitting the house. No windows were broken. Nothing fell on the house. The house was still standing. Because really, I thought it's going to rip the roof off the house. This is it. It's going to come. It's going to pull it apart. Because it was just incredibly strength. But there was different things, and I was continuously. This is me. This is what I do. If you don't, God help you. I suggest you pick up some of these habits. I was reading Psalms 91 continuously. I was reading Psalms 91. I was reading it out loud. I was praying. We were talking about when there was a storm and they were on the boat and Jesus slept. You of little faith, what are you scared of? You have to ground yourself with that, because all you can do is you're basically a sitting duck, and you're sitting there waiting and listening. That's all you can do, and you just have to get through it. And that's just kind of how it went. So let me go through, because I had to have a couple notes. Oh, I do want to say, when we were in the worst part of the storm, hit our boat thing. Love these. I've never had an issue. Never had it, and it wasn't a problem with this device. I've never had an issue. We were listening to Noah. The video thing, you heard the recording. You could see the lights off, and you heard the recording, what it said. In the mix of the worst of it, and there was tornadoes coming right at us. There was tornadoes right here, right around us. Like, you can hear stuff. Noah went out, and we had Ryan Hall, y'all, live on one of the phones that kept coming through his Noah. There are things, everything, it went out everywhere. So we were sitting ducks. There was no, and these, we've many times, tornadoes, hurricanes, different things going on. It says, hey, it's on this area, it's coming. You know where it's coming. You know the road, the location, everything is coming. It gives you that little heads up. It went down. All of Noah went down. That weather stuff went down. So we were just like, well, that hasn't happened before. And that's kind of that little safety net you kind of have, because you was like, okay, I got a couple minutes ahead. I know what's coming, what's going on, because you're blinded, especially at night. It went out. I've never had that happen. So that is, when we think about that security net of something like that, it went down. And then it was down for a while. It was down for like 2 days. We did not have any of that. And I can only speak for my area, but it was NOAA weather. It went down. There was nothing And right as that happened, we saw it on Ryan Hall, because we were watching that, trying to any bit of heads up. They had lost everything as well. So that's a first for us. That happened. Like I said, we had lost like 5 big oaks. That's how this, that's how it is out here. We have humongous oaks. People call them grandfather oaks, plantation oaks, water oaks, white, whatever you want to call them. They're humongous. They're hundreds and hundreds of year old. We lost a bunch of those. We had, and like I said, everything in huge branches that are look big as some regular sized trees went down. Everything fell away from the house by the grace of God. Nothing touched our cars. So that happened. We did have several further to the front part of the property. We had trees go down on lines and broke some poles. And then, like I said, that's why we were without. Well, everywhere was without power, and we got power back last night, which was Monday night. Right at dusk, we got power back. But thank you God for that. And it's an inconvenience. But I say, even when I'm an inconvenience and it's ridiculous hot, those are first world problems compared to so many. Okay. I mean, so I'm gonna go through like a lot of different things, but all of town, I live out in a rural area. All of town was closed. There wasn't gas stations open. Nothing was open. This is like the day after, except for Publix grocery store, because they ran on generators. There was nothing. You couldn't get gas. There was nothing. It was I've never seen it to that extreme. So many counties, there was nothing available to do anything. So then if you start getting low on gas for your generator, you can't get more gas. And then when a gas station came up, they're not selling to the public because they need that gas for the linemen, which I can understand that. Speaking of linemen, God bless linemen. I've always said that. Those men, I mean, they work around the clock. They come from all over. They are doing the things, working hard, and most of they're away from their family for weeks at a time often. And this is 2 different times in a row we've had linemen come up, and they're away from their family. Where their family is, they have no power, and they're up here restoring our power. Please pray for your linemen. Be grateful for your linemen. Take them some Gatorade, some cold drinks. They are just heaven sent for everything that they do, and I just really appreciate them. So I'm going through my stuff. So when our power and stuff first went out in all of these counties, these areas and everything, I mean, we were hearing things come out that it could be up to 3 weeks. They could be up 3 weeks because they restored power because things were just demolished. And all of it, we had no floodings in these areas at all. It was wind damage, and it was so destructive of what wind did everywhere. You couldn't drive anywhere without seeing that. But again, I was out like right at 6 days, 5 days, something like that. Now, there are still a lot of places that do not have power yet. And again, I'm praying for them because I think it was like 2 days after the power was out, we were getting heat warnings. And here we are right at the very end of September, heat and humidity warnings. And they said it could be dangerous levels for those without power. Well, 90% of Florida and these states right here were without power. So, you do the best you can to keep cool. And that's a lot of different things that can be in your preps, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be absolutely comfortable. That's the way it goes. So keep that in mind. So all that went on, like I said, it just could have been a lot worse. And I'm grateful. I don't want to do it again. I'm praying for this storm Kirk that's out there coming into the Gulf, that it goes another way. The European model is lining up, and they were right last time. I don't know. I'm trying not to get into all of that overtime, but too far ahead and think of it because we're just, getting through this. But so there's a lot going on in the world as well, not just with what happened with us and so many. Now the situations, Western North Carolina, that's my old stomping grounds, and I am heartbroken. I have cried and been heartbroken and just so worried about that area and many of the areas that are really affected. Don't get me wrong. And that is a nightmare. That's a nightmare over there. So I'm trying not to get too worked up on the fact that help is not going in. If you saw what Biden said about we can't do anything for them, anything else for them, there's a video clip of that. It's all over. I put it on my Instagram. You can follow me over there. Mine is set to private. Let me know who you are if you want to follow me over there. Because I do post things over there that seem to stay up more than they do over here. You can check that out. So don't get me started on that. So all these, they were trying to get things. There were so many areas. They're completely wiped off. There's people trapped. There are deceased people in the waters. There are people trapped on roofs. There's just no help coming in. So they had private pilots that were doing choppers. They were bringing in choppers and they were dropping supplies down to these people. And they were private. They were doing it on their own, helping these people. Food, water, supplies, medical, whatever. They were dropping it in. And I thought, bless these people. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be your community, right? We're going to have to look out for each other, because what do we always say? They're not coming to help. So that was going on. This morning I woke up and I saw that they have warned and gave a warning to the private people who are doing the choppers on their own and dropping supplies. If they did not stop, they would be arrested immediately. What purpose to say to threaten that is, besides they want destruction and passings to happen? Who would ever stop anyone saying, I'm giving these people supplies? I didn't ask you, I didn't tell you to go do it. I'm doing this on my own to do that. That and Biden getting in, the whole strike that started today, that's going on about the East Coast ports. This affect everywhere. Everyone that was hit in the Southeast and everything was down, that there's not a lot of supplies out because of the ruins or the flooding in a lot of flooding in different areas. Things are gone. There's no supplies. There's not going to have stuff because of this strike that started today to replenish that. So they're also saying, he said he's not getting involved in that. He's not getting involved with the strike. And I think it's 45,000 that are striking because of that. So between that, him saying that, he's not getting involved because, oh God, why would that be his job to get involved? And about the aid, we can't do anything else for him. And they were focused on something else. So, and I don't, you know how I am about politics, right wing, left wing. Okay, don't get me started. That's not what this is about. But they were meeting with Zelensky, him and his little, cackling sidekick there, while we have these people suffering in our own country, and they're saying we're not doing anything else. I have a lot of colorful words for him, because it's absolutely disgusting what they're doing to our own. I can't. And then when private individuals are helping, we're helping each other because that's what it's going to take. They're threatening to arrest them. I have no words for that. I have a lot of words, but you know what I'm saying. So that situation's going on. Yesterday, and again, this is just the way it goes. It's just, if it's not one thing, it's 10 other, and that's how it goes. The trucks were out here. You probably saw some pictures of the line trucks I had put in there. The trucks were out here, and we were going to get power back. So we were like, let's run to town, get a couple things. And I'll have to explain that also, because I skipped over a hiccup that happened during when the power was out. We were coming back. And like I said, it looked very rural. We were coming back, and my truck broke down. Like, suddenly broke down. And we were like, what in the world's going on? What the heck has happened? And basically, a belt broke, and when it broke, it went around a fan and broke our water pump, like that quick. How it even happened, it was just ridiculous. So I was just like, I was feeling tired and defeated, and you're hot for all those days. And again, first world problems. Okay, I'm first one to say it for ourselves. It was just like, we're getting ready to get power back. My truck just broke down, and that's the way it goes. So I will say, a day and a half before we got power back, I know I'm jumping all over. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Our generator went out, and we worked on it and worked on it and worked on it, and it just wasn't happening. And like I said, the situation was, you couldn't get gas, you couldn't go get different parts or stuff if you needed, and I lost everything. And I have a big stand-up freezer with not a deep freezer, it's a big stand-up freezer with a door that opens, that is stocked for things that we blanch and freeze, meats. There's a lot of different things that's stocked in our refrigerator. That's the only two things that were hooked up to our generator, was the refrigerator and then this big stand-up freezer. And I ended up losing everything. I lost everything, and I was devastated. I'm not gonna lie, I was devastated. I was just like, we had 8 gallons of frozen raw milk from our dairy cow, frozen in there as well, and I lost everything. And so I was upset, and the storm, the damage, the power, the losing stuff right here. It's like we're so close, power. Well, at the time we didn't know. The generator, I lost the stuff. Then my truck broke yesterday, and it was just like, really? So yesterday I was kind of like, okay, I'm feeling pretty whipped and defeated today, and I was. And allow yourself to feel that way. Allow yourself to feel that way, and kind of get through it, because it's tough with being exhausted and stressed and hot and all those things. It happens. So, I had to kind of sleep on that and pray about it, and just let it run its course and process things, because that's just how it is. That's life, and it happens. And shift, I promise you, shift never goes the way you think it's going to go. Your supplies, your stock, your preps, everything, it never goes. It's just not going to. And we constantly learn and we grow. So I was doing a lot of thinking. A lot of praying, and about, I kind of had a sour attitude about it. I wasn't angry. I was just like, I just kind of had that defeated. Like, could I just not have something else right now? Could we not do that? And the fact that I may have another storm in less than 2 weeks, could I just not, right? That's just kind of how I was feeling. And so I had to stay in prayer, but I was, of course, now this isn't to the extreme, but I was like, oh, you better go read Job. He lost a lot more, and what did God, and Job's like, God, why? And even the things, I'm like, we do right. We are good people. We are kind people. We try to do what's right. We stay close to God. We have this strong faith. We have so many blessings. But then when it keeps piling on, you can kind of like, oh, look how heavy this is. And it just keeps on. And I just need my head above water, and it keeps on splashing over me. And then, so you got to check yourself. What are you grateful and thankful for? What are your blessings? And I have to make myself do that. And if you are called in those situations and start feeling that, make yourself. Thank you, Jesus. None of the trees fell on the house. Thank you, God. None of us were hurt. My house is still standing. My animals all made it fine. And look at how many comparisons are so much worse off. Thank God I have a house that power can be connected back to. Even if I'm sitting here burning up and it's 95 degrees outside, it's 87 degrees in my house, and it's ridiculous hot, I'm glad my house is still standing, that power can go to it, because so many lost everything. They don't have a house to put power back into. Thank God I have a truck that is able to break down, and it wasn't washed away in the storm like so many others were. See what I'm saying? You gotta fix your thinking and your focus on things. Okay? Give yourself grace. But what I say, sit in the shadows. You need to sit down. You need to sit down and have a pity party a little bit, or be angry about it, or cry a little bit or something. You go ahead and do that. You better get up and dust off, and you better, I don't care if you got to write down and make a list. Here's your blessings over whatever happened. You better find it, because, excuse me, if you don't, it's going to continue to drag you down. And again, all these type of things are part of spiritual warfare. This time is going to happen. Things are going on in the world. And so I had to do that. And it was just, if you ever kind of feel like, Lord, why me? Well, why not you? Why not you, Casey? Why not? Look at these other people. Look at the blessings you do have. The hard time, I promise you, hard times is what's going to strengthen you. Hard times and struggles is what's going to build your faith. It's what you're going to learn from. It's what you're going to grow from. So after the initial, I'm done. I feel a little beat down here. You need to realize, what did I learn from this? What is my growth from this? How did this grow my faith? And let me put things in perspective, because there's always someone worse off. There's always others worse off. There are people that I know. Those, Western North Carolina is my stomping grounds. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail out of privacy for a family and stuff like that. There's no communication or contact. There are pages all over the place that people are desperately saying, have you seen my family member? They live there. They were vacationing there. I can't find them. I can't contact their communication. You talk about comms going down? There's nothing. And then you're hearing stuff on the outside and saying, oh, the government's not going to help. He ain't got time for that. Biden didn't have time for that. He's got to give our funds somewhere else. Okay, well, thank God we have good, people in the community. They're going to help. At least I know if they're down there and they're okay, they're getting some water and food to them, some medical supplies in case they have injuries. Oh, no, stop that. Or we're going to arrest you. The helplessness on the outside when you can't have communications to your loved one in those areas is horrific. It'll put you in perspective about a lot of things. And then throughout this, there's a thing is, what is God trying to tell me? What is God trying to tweak in me when we go through these things? And I just think that it's a learning. It's always a learning process. Whether you're learning because of your preps, you're learning because of your strength and all these different things. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I'm going to have to call them back. Or in your faith. That's how you're going to get through things like this. That's how you're going to grow in your faith and in your preps. And there's things, just Josh and I, we would do things and said, what if God ever wiped things away or said, pick up and you leave everything and you follow me. And we're like, oh my gosh, not my preps. And we lost a ton of stuff. But I didn't lose my home. I haven't lost a loved one. I haven't lost my entire car. At least my car, I still have a car to be fixed. And I just continue to pray for people. Do your part for others. And this is what was aggravating me. I was talking about at the beginning of the video, is people sit there and they want to jump. If somebody wants to jump on me because the situation might generate, don't know the whole thing. And that's okay. You be big behind your keyboard. You do that. And you criticize people. And that same amount of energy could be taken and be like, how can I help? I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about those who are bad off. People go and read these things. I've had horrible things that come through, go on my health phone. What did you think was going to happen? That's what you get for moving to Florida. The heck with Florida. I'm not helping. We're not helping anybody in there. Now, we're fine here, but there's a lot of people in Florida that are not. There's a lot of people through, South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee that are not. And people want to criticize. I'm like, God help you if you're one of those people. And if you're one of those people, you need to find your way off my channel. You just better. And we're not going to make it when those who are coming around and criticizing and jumping on each other or, gloating or celebrating because of something bad happened to somebody else. Oh, your preps want this. Oh, you should have been more prepared. You should have had this. Should have moved there. What were you thinking? It's just this part. You're part of the evilness if that's your mindset, and that's what you're doing. And my heart goes to so many people. I am praying for you. We have not forgotten you. We are praying for you. Find legit things, donations, however it's going to be. Supplies. There are legit places. But be careful because this is a time a lot of scams start coming. And do that. Because I'm talking about when I say they're not coming. They're not coming to help. And better be careful how much you broadcast out that you are helping, because like that, the people, that's a big thing about the private pilots and helicopters are dropping supply. They're going to arrest them. I have no words for how much that infuriates me. You see the guy who went through and he's bringing his mules to get through, to get to people, to get supplies and clear things and do things. That is what it's going to take for us to make it through everything that's coming. And things are about to pop off. Things are about to pop off, and I've been saying. Something is going to happen in October. I just felt something is going to happen in October. And speaking of that, if you saw Hillary, she made a thing, which again I put on my Instagram. She said something, she did a warning. They put it right in our face, so that something was going to happen in October that was going to affect the selections and stuff. Well, we know that game. They're going to do everything. So I'm okay. Thank you for your prayers. Continue to pray for so many because it's going to be a long, long time. And I appreciate you guys. I hope all of you guys are okay that hear me. I've heard a lot of different people in their different areas. I'm praying for you, and we're going to get through this. Okay, so that's why the whole thing about not letting getting dragged down and staying in the shadows, as I say, staying beaten, kicked down. You want to sit down for a little bit and you just feel whipped about everything. You go ahead and do that. Give yourself time, but you better get up and dust off. Figure out what you can learn. Where are my blessings at through all these horrific things? Okay. All right, everyone. I will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Stay well and God bless.